and you shouldn't put it off, because breathing well changes lives.
I do remember the first deep breath.
Oh, I remember that.
The feeling of like, whoa, like, this is great.
Since then, breathing has gotten easier. Sleeping has gotten easier.
I came in over 10 years ago and I couldn't breathe ever, and now I can breathe. That's the best way I can put it.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
It's time for the Crew to finally throw down against a division rival.
Fly ball, deep right center. See you later. Number 1 for Yelich.
Our Brewers-Reds coverage starts tonight at 6:05 on your home for the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 1 o'clock, it's 44 degrees and cloudy, on our way up to 50, windy today, and overnight low of 37. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, I'm Greg Matzik. A pregnant teenager from Beaver Dam, missing since early February, has been found near Omaha, Nebraska, and her alleged abductor is now in custody.
A missing juvenile that was reported missing out of Wisconsin is at Love's at this time.
Audio from Broadcastify capturing the moment authorities in Sarpy County, Nebraska were informed that 17-year-old Sophia Franklin had been spotted at a truck stop near Omaha overnight Wednesday. Franklin was traveling with her alleged abductor and father of her unborn child, 40-year-old Gary Day, who authorities said was driving the pair in a semi.
The juvenile stated that her vehicle had broken down in Oregon.
Day is in custody on $5,000 bond, while Franklin is waiting to be reunited with her family. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Well, cuts to federal agencies impact lead remediation efforts right here in Wisconsin. Milwaukee Health Commissioner Dr. Mike Todoritis confirms to WTMJ the CDC experts that were assisting those in Milwaukee with lead remediation efforts for MPS are gone, fired.
These experts in their respective sections within the CDC or Health and Human Services are some of the best and brightest of our country on these specific issues. So at this point, from what I understand, there aren't any lead experts at the CDC anymore.
Todoritis is confident that the current team of experts at the Milwaukee Health Department can continue the work they've started for the district. No longer leading up the lead cleanup in MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Brenda Casilius explains.
John Kane, who has served as Senior Director of Facilities and Maintenance Services, will no longer serve in that role and is separating from the district. I will immediately begin a search for a permanent replacement to lead the district.
And Kane was recently fined by the state for not keeping up his credentials since the time he was hired, I should say, in 2021. 3 MPS schools remain closed while lead remediation continues. Senators introducing legislation to require Congress to approve tariffs. The Senate narrowly passing a measure late Wednesday to cancel the tariffs Trump has imposed on Canadian imports. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
It's bipartisan legislation from Maria Cantwell and Chuck Grassley that would seek to give Congress a role in vetting tariffs that any administration, but particularly this administration, would enact. Among other things, it would require that Congress vote after about a 60-day window to approve tariffs that the executive branch were to put into place. And if Congress didn't vote to approve a tariff that the president enacted, that tariff would, in a sense, be canceled.
The bill is not expected to move into the House, but 4 Senate Republicans signed onto it. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Wish I had better news for you. Everything well into the red. The Dow is currently down about 1,340 points at 40,883. S&P 500 off about 230 points at 5440. NASDAQ down about 920 points this afternoon at 16,680. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:03.
Hey, Easter's almost here. WTMJ's John Mercure. I highly recommend the Easter Sunday brunch at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. It's one of the truly special family dining events of the year. Do it at a very special place. My favorite place, the Fox and Hounds. The food is world class. Everything you love for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including prime rib and an entire room of homemade desserts. It's all you care to eat, and kids and grandkids under 3, they eat for free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned bourbon or over 100 fine wines as you dine in one of the Fox and Hounds' 8 elegant dining rooms, maybe a mimosa. The Fox and Hounds, tucked into the Kettle Moraine Forest just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. The spring drive is spectacular. So do not cook, do not clean on Easter Sunday. Relax and enjoy your family and grandkids. The Fox and Hounds friendly staff will serve you. Call and reserve today as tables fill quickly. You'll love the Easter Sunday brunch, the Fox and Hounds.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All sports desk. Out with the Royals and in with the Reds. The Brewers homestand continues tonight after Pat Murphy's club took 2 of 3 from Kansas City.
That's a good baseball team over there. That team's a playoff-bound baseball team. That's why I'm so excited, because we battled. You know, that's how we have to be. We have to battle and be relentless and never give in.
Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6 o'clock on WTMJ. The Bucks are on the road in Philadelphia to play the 76ers. Hear that game on 94.5 ESPN with coverage beginning at 6 o'clock. Time for a look at your roads. A WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic update. Looking at the system here, there is a bit of a problem spot. You are on the brakes, 94 eastbound. Starting a little before the stadium and trying to get through that stadium interchange, looking at about 84th, maybe 76th Street on through the stadium. You're tapping on the brakes, and volume is a little heavy in that area right now. So be mindful of that. Add a few minutes to your travel time, 94 eastbound coming into downtown. Otherwise, standard travel times across the system and light volume this afternoon. Breezy today, plenty of clouds, a high of 50 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 37. Up to 51 on Friday, chance for rain at night. Saturday's high 50 degrees, Sunday's high 46. Back to a wintry mix possibility on Monday with a high of 38. Right now in Madison, it's 46 and cloudy. Green Bay 45. Waukesha, cloudy and 48. It's 46 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:07.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristin, Brey, and Steve Scaffidi.
Steve Scaffidi, here. We got plenty to talk about. How you doing today?
I am good. So yesterday...
How's your 401k today?
Oof, don't even ask. I looked yesterday just to see where my starting point was for this big decline. Yesterday was Liberation Day, according to President Donald J. Trump.
Liberation Day.
Maybe call it Recession Day, Inflation Day, hopefully not Depression Day.
We will see. We have plenty to talk about that. But yes, the most expansive tariffs yet will start Saturday on all imports from cars to fashion, at least at 10%, but with 60 other countries, including ones that have a zero population of humans, but plenty of population of penguins, are getting new tariffs.
It sounds like a plan not well considered. Just my take.
We'll talk more about that later.
So I had a great interview on the show last week, my show. Todd Hirsch. I met him through a friend of a friend from high school, actually, my friend Marianne. He's a Canadian economist, author, and speaker. He's worked for the Bank of Canada, chief economist for Alberta-based bank. And he's joining us
He's on the phone now.
the hotline right now. Good afternoon, Todd. Where are we hailing you from today?
Good afternoon to both of you. I am back home in Calgary after a lot of travel, but I'm in Calgary, Alberta today.
So I guess first I'll start with this. What's the reaction in Canada of this so-called Liberation Day announcement by the president? Big ceremony yesterday at the White House. I think it was in the Rose Garden or somewhere around there.
It was the Rose Garden.
Yeah. What was the reaction in Canada?
Well, it's quite astounding, actually, because, for months now, President Trump has been harping on Canada and 25% tariff, and we're a very bad offender, and we, fentanyl and all this craziness. And then yesterday, he pulls out his charts, and, almost every country of the world is getting hit, but Canada. He didn't mention Canada. We didn't make the chart. And I thought for a minute this was maybe a clerical error or something. They didn't have one, a line fell off the printing press or something like that. But Canada wasn't mentioned among the countries that are getting hit by tariffs yesterday. Now, there was a collective sigh of relief in Canada. There are still tariffs in place, 25% on autos, 25% on steel and aluminum. That's been in place now for a few weeks, but nothing new announced yesterday. In fact, it was announced that, things that are covered currently under the CUSMA, that is the Canada, U.S., Mexico Free Trade Agreement, things currently under CUSMA will not be hit with tariffs. Now, while on the surface that is good news, I think it sort of continues the play of, the agent of chaos. Like, what do you mean no tariffs? You've been talking about tariffs for months now, and on Liberation Day, no tariffs. So I think it was good news, but I don't think anyone in Canada is really taking this as we're completely off the hook. I think that there are still going to be some tweaks and adjustments, and, who knows what we might be hit with.
And I think I asked you this last week, but economists, are they generally on one side or the other on the idea of tariffs? And at least my understanding, having read some of this stuff in the last few months of the Trump administration, is that economists aren't huge fans, or am I overstating that?
No, you are not overstating it. There are very few serious economists who would advocate tariffs. Tariffs, when they came down and, after the Second World War, global tariffs were largely responsible, the elimination of tariffs, largely responsible for the prosperity that the global economy has seen over the last 70 years. Yes, there are adjustments. Yes, there are winners, and there are some pockets where people don't feel like they're winning. But overall, global prosperity has surged because tariffs have been eliminated. As of yesterday, the president is rewriting the global trading rules, throwing us back into a time that we haven't seen since the 1930s, the beginning of the Great Depression, where tariffs are now sort of, becoming more normal. So economists, generally speaking, do not like tariffs. They think there are much better ways to raise revenue, and this is really just hampering global economic activity.
Now, Todd, would there be a better way to do tariffs that actually could help the U.S. economy, or is it because this is so chaotic, or is there a more strategic way that this could have been done to get to the end goal that's been stated?
Well, I think, and when the president yesterday, he talks about different countries, and they have been, I think he overstated saying America has been cheated and raped and pillaged and all these outrageous words. I would agree that there have been countries that maybe haven't always been the fairest of free traders, and maybe, in fact, have imposed tariffs on the United States when the United States, in fact, didn't have that same sort of tariff. He's not entirely wrong that way. But rather than just sort of taking a sledgehammer to the whole thing, I think that this would have been an opportunity for him to, have negotiations with each individual country saying, hey, look, we actually don't think what you guys are doing is necessarily fair. Can we work this out? I think that was an approach that other presidents had. Certainly Barack Obama had this approach with China. Joe Biden had this approach with China. Donald Trump is not the first one to point out that there are some imbalances, so I'll give him that. But this sledgehammer approach, saying we're just going to go nuts and start imposing tariffs on the global economy, I don't think is necessarily the most helpful way to do it.
Canadian economist Todd Hirsch joining us on Spanning the State on 620 WTMJ. European Union leaders weighed in last night, early this morning in the United States, and they are banding together. Canada's sort of, it's not an island, but it's above the United States. It's a massive country. If it's bigger or small, is it bigger than the United States?
I think the land mass is bigger.
Yeah, the land, obviously.
Land mass is a little bigger.
Yeah. But when you look at like the impact of the U.S. and our standing, standing's a great word because it talks about the image of our country and what we stand for. What do you think this sort of activity in the form of tariffs will do to the sort of the image and the standing of the United States across the world, including Canada?
You know, and this is where it's really kind of heartbreaking because, you know, most Canadians I know have always loved the United States. It's been a bit of a big brother sort of relationship, not in a surveillance kind of big brother way, but, you know, like they are our best friend. They are the ones that we do business with. This is where we like to vacation. We love American products. We love American TV and Netflix and all of it. But we feel a little betrayed. We feel a little bit of the trust in that relationship between Canada and the United States, which is for more than a century has been sort of the bedrock of our relationship, that trust. That trust has sort of been betrayed. And now we're not sure what to expect, you know, and it's hard to undo that. You know, any relationship, once trust has been breached or compromised, it's hard sometimes to win it back. So I would say, you know, after we get over here in Canada, maybe the 5 stages of grieving, you know, you go through denial and then you go through anger and bargaining and all these different things. But I think there is a profound sadness in Canada that, in fact, that relationship, that trust between our two countries has been broken.
We got to let you go, Todd, but I want to ask you one quickly before we do that. Where do you think the story goes in the next week or 2 weeks? Is it as simple as saying, you remove yours, we'll take ours off?
Get out your crystal ball.
I always say I don't have a crystal ball. It's more like a lava lamp. In other words, I can look into it, but things are always shifting and changing. Really hard to predict right now what's going to happen next. Again, I think that is maybe part of the president's style, is sort of sowing chaos, and you know, it keeps your opponents on their back foot because we just never know what to expect. I think it's sad that we're viewed as an opponent rather than as a cherished trading partner, but we are on our back foot. We don't know what to expect. We were a bit relieved yesterday that Canada wasn't singled out for high tariffs, but I don't think anyone in Canada is expecting that to be the end of the story.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. He is Todd Hirsch, a Canadian economist and speaker. We'll have to have you on as this develops even more.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Todd.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll be back with more after this.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profiled the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes.
There, yeah, she flew off the road right at a bridge, so she went down an embankment. No one could see her vehicle until a guy named Johnny Martinez happened to come by.
I said, ma'am, how long have you been here? And she said, I've been here since Wednesday night. And I said, no, it's today's Tuesday.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
As spring rolls in, it's time to get your yard ready at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Keep ahead of crabgrass with effective crabgrass preventers from quality brands like Scott's and Estate. These powerful pre-emergent solutions stifle crabgrass and other invasive weeds to keep your turf healthy and green from the get-go. But if any weeds slip through, Estate Premium 4-in-1 Lawn Treatment will choke them out on contact. Take pride in your lawn and find the value you need to maximize its potential. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement.
At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Not today, you can't, Kristin Brey.
You have no satisfaction today?
No, I'm not going to look at my 401k and my investments because it's going to be a bloodbath. And when you've been in it as long as I have been,
You've seen the ups and downs of everything,
Yeah,
but
'cause
you're
I've lived through
closer to retirement than I am. So I feel like it's one thing for me not to look at it. It's
Yeah.
another thing for you to gauge when you're actually going to hang it up.
Yeah, and I don't want to diminish the impact because if folks are close to retirement or just retired and they still are pretty active in investing, this is an ouch moment. This is not a fun day, and I don't want to make light of it. I'll just say this: I had Rick Esselberg on my show this morning, and Rick is as conservative as they get. He is not a fan of any of this. He's blown up Donald Trump before on sort of base level politics stuff. It's not researched. It's not data driven. Most, as we just heard from Todd Hirsch, most economists don't believe in this stuff. But that's sort of that populist idea that some people, including voters, seem to like.
So I want to get back to the more actual policy, strategic things that are happening in the Senate as far as bipartisan blocks yesterday. For the Canadian tariffs, there was also some movement today. I want to get back to that. But based on what you just said, I had this moment because some of the tariffs that came out yesterday for Heard and McDonald Island, which is off the coast of Australia, has a 0-person population.
You mean no trade?
Lots of penguins.
Yeah, they don't trade, though.
But no people. And similar Norfolk Island also does no trade with U.S.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about this because I feel like every time there's a big announcement like this, there is some kind of memeable thing that happens, right? And I've already seen lots of memes of there was someone who this is the one that I reposted of a penguin sitting in Zelensky's seat in the Oval Office and Vance and Trump yelling at the penguin. But and I always wonder, do you think that is on purpose because we then in the media or on social media talk about like, oh, look how dumb it is, or why would they do that? And it's like an Easter egg that's planted, or do you think it's actually an oversight?
I think it's an oversight.
Okay.
And because I've heard that argument before that it's sort of
a plant
to see if we're paying attention. I've said for a long time, not a fan of Donald Trump. People know that if they listen to my show. But the fact that the way they're doing things, even with Doge, is like so simplistic that it doesn't like factor in any real data or any analytics or research, so that they're making really dumb mistakes, including trying to tariff an island that has no people or trade on it. That's just stupid at its base. I mean, come on. That makes no sense.
Yeah. So let's take a break quickly. When we come back, we'll talk about what's happened in the Senate as far as some bipartisan agreement that Congress should maybe take back some power when it comes to these tariffs. Now, how much pressure would have to happen on House representatives for them to actually take this up?
Can you make Speaker Mike Johnson cry? That's the question. Can someone do that? I think it's possible. Hard, but possible.
So we'll talk about that on the other side of this.
From the post-game show to the morning show, there's no rest for baseball and Dominic Cotroneo.
I was like a kid on Christmas Eve. I couldn't sleep last night. I was just so excited to get ready to watch games that count.
Dominic Cotroneo is our Brewers 360 guest every Monday morning at 8:45 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
There are some roster decisions I do want to break down here, and then we'll get into the lineup.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Did you know that Wisconsin has a new, quick, and free online tax filing tool called IRS Direct File? Direct File is changing how people file their taxes and bringing more money into our state through the federal Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credit. File your federal and state taxes online directly with the IRS from your smartphone or computer. On average, file in less than 1 hour. Available in English and Spanish. Visit directfile.irs.gov to see if you're eligible. Sponsored by United Way of Wisconsin.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could, in fact, still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your Accunet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. Steve Scaffidi is here with me today.
And tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
Don't forget tomorrow.
And then...
tomorrow.
I don't know if you're surprised by this, but yesterday I saw that the Senate voted to rescind some of Trump's tariffs, Canadian tariffs specifically. Then earlier this morning, senators introduced a bipartisan bill to grant Congress more power over instituting tariffs on other countries. Now, this is bipartisan agreement or, initiative in the Senate.
One side of Congress.
One side of Congress, and likely with Speaker Mike Johnson at the helm, won't have a lot of movement in the House unless, I don't know, if there continues to be this much pressure. We've seen some of the anger over at town halls, the anger over certain representatives not having town halls. And if that continues to swell, do you think that there could be enough pressure to may have some movement in the House?
Yes. I made this point at the very end of my show, and I believe this. If this puts us into recession, you can't point back at Joe Biden. This is the day and the change, tariffs, the leading part of that change, that did it. You have to own that if you're this administration. And if all those members of Congress, the Senate is always the grown-ups. There's only 100 of them. Congress, a lot of babies, a lot of crazy people, a lot of whatevers. They don't take a lot of what they do seriously anyway. So they're always like the junior in this argument. Senior senator, junior House. So if they're getting enough heat, absolutely. But they cannot deflect anymore. This administration owns the economy from today on, or actually from yesterday afternoon at 3 p.m.
Well, I mean, haven't they owned the economy since they walked in?
Not according to them. They were still talking about Bidenomics. Not anymore, folks. This is your thing. So all those Trump voters out there, understand that. That argument goes away as of 3 p.m. yesterday in Washington, D.C. in the Rose Garden. That's now his economy. And if it tanks, that's where you point your finger.
One question I wish we would have asked Todd is how long, is there irreparable harm? Because, there's an unpredictability with President Trump that we all know, right? That he could change his mind in a week from now. But is the introduction of this alone how much harm that causes? And the thing that I always think about is while a recession is terrible for most of us, every recession, there are some people who get very wealthy off of that recession by being able to buy stocks low, by being able to buy property low.
The super rich will
get
they'll take
richer.
Advantage.
And we have now, I think I saw a headline this morning that said we are now past 3,000 billionaires, which that not so long ago was a lot less than that.
Yeah, like a handful?
Like just a handful. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, since we did an episode of You Need to Listen on billionaires, we had a new episode that dropped this morning.
We did, and it's a really good one. And if any of you out there have watched the Netflix series Adolescence, it sort of taps into that. And we're talking about bad parenting and like the implications
more specifically,
of parenting.
we're talking about when is bad parenting not a crime?
Absolutely.
Because we've seen certain situations, we've talked about it on this show, when unintentional shootings happen in the home. In Milwaukee County, it's charged as a felony. In other counties, it's not. It's a misdemeanor. We've seen in Michigan, the parents who are now serving a sentence, the Crumblies, for their son's actions with their guns. But then on the flip side, we have other kind of negligent parenting that's not a crime. And so trying to talk about when it comes to your child and what they do or don't do, what responsibility do parents have? This
might be the best episode. It's our 6th that we've done, and might be our best. Just from the feedback I've gotten internally already, this is obviously a hot button topic for all the reasons you just suggested. But I think we look at this as something, if we don't fix this, all the things we talk about, school shootings, accidental shootings, kids being denied health care, all those things are going to be even more important and more deadly in the future if we don't fix the parenting question. How much...
Well, how do you legislate parenting?
Yes. I mean, this is something we got to talk about.
Without it being governmental overreach.
Big question that we have to face head on, especially in the era of social media and all the other crazy stuff, unlimited access to everything, including pornography among very young people. Those are scary things for parents. I'm not saying it's easy and it only gets harder, but we got to face that stuff head on.
Absolutely. So if you would like to listen to our newest episode that dropped this morning, you can text LISTEN to the Citing Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. Text LISTEN to 855-616-1620, and we will send you the link to our show. And if you like it, review it. Put a review on there. Subscribe. Send it to your friends.
There's a giveaway next fall on our podcast. You know this?
No.
Oh, I'll surprise you with that later.
Oh, all right. Well, when we come back, action. Wisconsin. It's been a year since we talked about tax incentives for films. So we're going to talk about that after ABC News and local headlines.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Countries are reacting to President Trump's tariff plans. Canada responding with counter auto duties after the U.S. slapped a 25% tariff on foreign autos. A 10% baseline tariff on global goods begins next week. And countries like China and others in Asia will pay even more. ABC's Britt Clinton is in Hong Kong.
Many had shifted to places like Vietnam to avoid the Chinese tariffs, and now suddenly facing 46%. Taiwan's tariffs will make chips more expensive. All in all, upping the price tag for America's everyday goods.
President Trump claiming the tariffs will boost manufacturing in the U.S. Senators now considering a bipartisan bill to require Congress to approve tariffs.
The goal, again, is to give Congress more of a role in oversight over these trade actions, and it comes after legislation already passed the Senate last night to essentially cancel tariffs that the White House has threatened to impose on Canada.
ABC's Jay O'Brien. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:31, 46 degrees and cloudy on our way up to 50. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, I'm Greg Matzik. Suing the bars connected to the death of Sade Robinson. Robinson's family claims both the Twisted Fisherman and Dukes on Water observed the 19-year-old Robinson until she was incapacitated, resulting in her death, saying she was overserved. According to the lawsuit, Robinson was not asked for valid ID before being served alcohol. The lawsuit comes a year after Robinson's murder. A jury finds a Milwaukee police officer guilty of negligence. Antonio Obregon ran over a suspect during a high-speed chase in 2020. The injured man, Ravid Smith, sued the city and Obregon after the incident. He was awarded nearly $58,000 for medical expenses and pain and suffering. And 3 Milwaukee public schools, Starnes Early Childhood Learning Center, Fernwood Montessori, and La Follette School remain closed for continued lead remediation. Interim Chief School Administration Officer Michael Harris says that crews have been working around the clock and through spring break. Harris says the district is looking to hire more third-party cleaners and partners to help speed up the cleaning process. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not a great day here. The Dow is plunging down nearly 1,500 points at 40,745. NASDAQ is off about 1,000 points today at 16,628. S&P 500 also way off, down about 4.5%, 245 points at 5424. Annex Wealth Management. Visit annexwealth.com and know the difference. Time for a look at your roads. A WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic update. No real issues to report on the system. Pretty mild volume. The hiccup that was causing a bit of a delay, 94 eastbound right around the stadium, that appears to be cleaned up. So you're moving freely through the system this afternoon. Cloudy today, breezy as well, a high of 50 degrees, wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, cloudy and a low of 37. 51 your high on Friday, Saturday's high of 49. Sunday, partly cloudy and a high of 46. Could see a bit of snow on Monday with a high of 38 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 45. Green Bay, 45. Waukesha, 47. 46 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake, tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Caladora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen, explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Save big money on auto accessories at Menards. We have what you need to keep your vehicle looking like new. Give your car the care it needs with Turtle Wax Max Power Car Wash. It provides maximum strength cleaning. The more wash you use, the stronger the cleaning power becomes, giving your vehicle a showroom shine. Check out our wide selection of auto care accessories in store, or check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. All right, what do Public Enemies, Bridesmaids, Major League, Mr. 3000, what do all of these movies have in common, Steve?
Good movies.
Yes.
I know the answers. You want me to say the answer?
Sure.
Shot in Wisconsin.
Partially shot in Wisconsin, yes. But it has been a minute since Hollywood was incentivized.
And what was the last Bridesmaids, maybe? The last one that shot here. Big one.
Big one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, maybe our guest would be able to answer that
That was
question.
mainly L.A. Bridesmaids.
But there's nothing that was shot here?
Yeah, there was one street scene.
Maybe like an exterior
Okay, but
shot.
nothing that was significance. All right. So we talked about this a year ago, but we have invited back the dedicated group of filmmakers and creatives who are working to change how Wisconsin handles tax incentives for the film industry and wants to bring them back. So a year ago, we had Suzanne Gerva here, who's a Wisconsin filmmaker and part of Action Wisconsin. And we're now inviting Nathan Deming back. Sorry. You were most recently here with your movie for February, but I did not realize that you're also part of Action Wisconsin. So very happy to have you both here. So let's just talk. I think when we had you on last year, Suzanne, we were one of 5 states that doesn't have a dedicated film office, and we were 1 in 10 that doesn't offer any kind of production incentives for filmmakers. Is that still the case, or is there other states that have moved in this last year while we have not?
Yes, there are. Other states. There are other states that have been making moves.
Okay.
Well, we have not. We are now one of 3 states without a film office, and Minnesota has really increased their film tax incentives, and they're doing a lot of production. And we are one of 13 states now without film tax incentives.
Why? I guess why? I mean, it seems like an obvious plus for the state, the promotion aspects, the PR, and the fact that you're bringing some more economic incentives for local businesses too. I mean, why not?
Good question, right, Nathan?
Yeah, well, I think it became a punching bag about 15 years ago when we had these before, but they were much weaker. And it was around the time, I think, where Hollywood and states were figuring out how to do this in a way that benefited the state. So since then, like states like Georgia, New Mexico, they built really strong incentive programs that have just exploded. Like, look at New Mexico. Go to their New Mexico Film Office website. Oppenheimer shot there. Over the 2010s, had Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. So
it's sort of like if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Well, and they do, right? Because it's so expensive to film in LA now. I forgot. Like it's cheaper to film overseas sometimes. And I don't mean overseas like go up to Canada and Vancouver. Like film in Europe than it is to film in Los Angeles these days.
I was in London about a month ago, and it's booming there, and Ireland is booming too. And in fact, a small county in Ireland, Cork County, is the home to a Rob Lowe reality game show where it's easier to bring over 100 Americans and shoot there than to shoot that show in downtown LA.
So, all right. So one of the other things that is move forward since we had you on last year is that Governor Evers actually did address this in his budget proposal. So what is he proposing?
He is in support in the budget of the film office, which is very good, excellent, and film tax incentives. And the tax incentives we're still jostling back and forth on the percentages, but to have the tax incentives cover vendors, crew, all the sorts of people that we need to shoot.
All right. Politics is a two-way street, primarily. Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives. I'm not going to ask you that question. What do we have to do to make, I would understand, conservatives, Republicans understand that this is an important economic piece of the vitality of the state of Wisconsin? What do we need to do? We talked to all these people. I talked to them on my show. I mean, this is something I really wasn't that aware of, but it seems like a no-brainer to me given all the potential positives that result from filming and making movies or anything, really.
Yeah, also just a great advertisement for Wisconsin, right? We saw what having Top Chef here did.
Top Chef brought in $5 million to hotels in Milwaukee and Madison.
So we have examples of what can happen here. So, I mean, who do we need to work on to make this happen? Governor Evers is on board. Republicans, my Republican friends, what are you doing, I guess?
Honestly, I think we just need to get the word out there because it seems like people still aren't aware that this is happening now. Like, this is a possibility now. There's like 4 budget hearings, right, Suzanne, over the next month where people can show up, and it's for the whole state budget, but people can come out in support of this. And when you were talking about February, I went to like 30 cities around Wisconsin, and like part of that turned into just a town hall for this. I was talking about film incentives. I was prepared to have a discussion or just like I was prepared for debate. I got nothing. Everybody was super positive and super interested once they found out about it because I think people just don't know about how filmmaking works, and it is complicated. I mean, I hear tax incentives. I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's the economy of filmmaking now. Like states around the country, countries around the world, this is how they make films now is with these incentives, and we're just losing a game we're not playing, which stinks because we have tons of filmmaking talent come from here. Some of the greatest directors ever came from here. Some of the top acting talent in the world currently is from here. Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe. Yeah. And it's
that's
just
like top 5, those guys right in the world, right?
Yeah. And they had to leave. Well, they left because they made it huge. But but also we were talking about every year there's hundreds of graduates who just leave.
I mean, UWM has an unbelievable film school.
Yeah. We're producing 500 to 600 really great, talented filmmakers, and they all have to leave. And it's going back to why would anybody be against it? I think it's what Nathan said. Don't understand. A studio won't come here unless there's tax incentives because the other states have tax incentives. And a studio doesn't know what is here in Wisconsin. But any place in Wisconsin can be a location. Because the florist shop, the grocery store, the catering, the restaurant, the hotel, all those people are part of the film economy because you have to spend money to produce a film anywhere you go.
So I feel like I do understand tax incentives, but what would a film office do?
The film office is kind of like your first step. So if I'm a producer in LA and I want to know where I want to shoot, literally, because I was a studio exec, you go to the film offices and you look at locations. the locations that are there, the crews are there, the equipment, what's there, where are the permits living. It's the first PR and press for shooting in Wisconsin.
Got it.
And it's kind of like then when the incentives come in, the lines have to be qualified, meaning you have to prove that you shot in Wisconsin, you used a Wisconsin vendor with a Wisconsin ID and yada, yada, yada. And then you get that 30% back. And that's the film commissioner in the film office that qualifies that. And then you get your money. So it's very important to have a film office
as well. All right. So you guys are going to go to some of these Joint Finance Committee hearings, correct?
Absolutely. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I guess I'm lining up.
That's an early wake up.
So as far as anyone who's listening who also feels like this is a good thing to get behind, what do you recommend that they either more information to go learn about it or what they can be doing?
If they please go visit your state legislator and say you want these. Please go to actionwi.org and send a letter to your legislator. It's easy, 1, 2, 3. You can get it done in less than a minute. Come tomorrow to the Joint Finance Committee public hearing, and they want to know
where is it.
It's at State Fair Park. Is that called Park? Yes.
Yeah. Easy.
Yes, very easy. And we're lining up a bunch of filmmakers. We're working with Create Wisconsin, and we're working with Imagine MKE, and they're going to be there too to say, you can't have an economy that's working and thriving without the creative economy working for you. You can't, my husband worked at a place that Steve knows, and it's hard for him to get engineers here if you don't have the creative economy here too. It doesn't make sense not to build this.
Absolutely.
And I would say if you're a filmmaker in LA, or if you're in a film crew, if you're a makeup artist, if you're a G&E, consider ways to reach out to us and get involved with Action Wisconsin, because I think this could be something we all do together moving forward for the whole state. Like a little Wisconsin Hollywood or something, but let's get connected. Because this is our future. I mean, 10 years ago, I finished film school and I couldn't stay here. And I don't want that to happen for the future generations. And if we work together now, consider ways we can give back now and not just run down to Chicago for jobs or, LA or
What's
New
the
York.
website again?
actionwi.org.
Can I get a cool t-shirt
and
on
Charlie
the website?
Barron's fan favorite, big part of this. His face is on the website.
Yes, he's on the website. He will be other places too. And also follow our social media posts. And you'll see, I think this week, Ethan Hawke is going to drop with his support of
Mark
this.
Ruffalo gave his support.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scott
That's
Frank,
awesome.
Queen's Gambit, he wants to shoot here, another episodic series for Netflix. So we're dropping the big names.
So there's people who already want to come. They're just waiting for some movement here.
They can't get movement with the studios.
I think they call that lighting a fire under some people in Madison.
All right, and then
We'll see what we can do.
a quick plug for another movie that was filmed in Wisconsin, February. Its last Wisconsin screening. When is it, Nathan?
It's this Saturday, 2:30 p.m., Beloit International Film Festival. Thanks for the shout out.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Name of a movie, too.
He'll tell you about it off. It's really cool. He's doing a whole anthology every month, all filmed in Wisconsin.
I am curious.
All right, Nathan Deming, Suzanne Jerva, thank you so much for for being with us today. All right, we'll be back after this.
Thank you.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods in New Berlin is the baseball lover's destination, with a massive state-of-the-art indoor training facility featuring hit tracks with precision analytics, a huge open turf area, and all the best training equipment you need. So get in here and get ready to get better. And we'll help you with this special offer. Buy 20 batting cage credits for $30. That's 25% off. This is Brian Burkhardt, and if you love baseball and softball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
153rd and National. If you plan on draining buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of residential basketball hoops from the best brand, Gorilla. We'll handle the installation and take care of everything to make it easy from start to finish. And right now, when you buy from Burkhardt, standard hoop installation is half price. You can't beat that. This is Brian Burkhardt, and when you love basketball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, comedian Roy Wood Jr. joins Marcus and Chris. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Welcome back. All right, so I had this realization yesterday.
Yes.
And back in January, as we were looking down the barrel of a TikTok ban, and I think it's no surprise to anyone who listens to this show that that's TikTok and social media is a little bit of my bread and butter. And back in January, it was a little bit more verklempt about TikTok coming to an end for a variety of reasons. But then I've been heads down. I've been working on the show. I've been working on a bunch of different things. Obviously, we just got done with the Supreme Court election. And then I realized yesterday that the 75-day extension that Trump gave on his very first day in office is up on Saturday. And I thought, I was like, wait, are we doing this all again? Are we doing the countdown to TikTok going dark this Saturday again? And is there going to be the same emotional reaction that there was last time? Or is everyone kind of like, well, I don't know.
Isn't that like a lot of stories?
Is it kind of like fool me once, fool me twice? You can't fool me twice.
I think the question is Amazon going to come to the rescue?
I don't think that's the question. I think the question is, does ByteDance sell to anybody?
Well, don't they have to? They have to. That's what Congress said.
No, they also can just not be in the U.S. We're only like 18% of their business.
Yes, and that would make you more upset than it would make me because I'm not on TikTok.
But this time around, the only thing that's funny to me now, because I was actually fully prepared as I've invested in different platforms. I'm like, if TikTok goes away, it's not the end of the world. But it was funny because I had some of my videos about the Supreme Court election performed very well, and I have like 1,000 new followers on TikTok this last week. So now it's like, do I have to do this whole thing again of get on there and try to get them to follow me on other channels and yada, yada, yada. So I actually don't think I care as much as I cared back in January. But it is interesting to see because as of right now, how the law is written, the president, whoever it was, whether it was going to be Kamala Harris or President Trump, could only make that extension if there was an imminent deal.
Right.
There clearly was not an imminent deal when he made this first extension.
You think?
So we're here. He could extend it, but is that legal? I don't know.
It doesn't matter to this president. He can do whatever he wants. And basically, everyone's afraid of him, so they're not going to do anything in response.
And so the interesting thing that seems like a loophole is letting TikTok's ByteDance is owned by the Chinese government. So if they would lease the algorithm to a U.S. company, so it's not like, so the company that is running TikTok in the United States doesn't own the algorithm, they're leasing the algorithm. Now, the question is, how much resistance from China hawks in the U.S. would that loophole create, but it is a suggestion that's out there.
I think there could be a savior at the last moment. I think TikTok would like to stay in the United States as a sort of one of those choices that people could make when they're choosing their social media platform. And I, at the risk of offending even more people today than I've already have, because I've called the president a twit this morning on economics, and certainly
what's the definition of a twit?
Someone who doesn't understand the concept that they're trying to change or trying to act on. And I would say the president also has no understanding of this issue in any serious way. And to have him be the arbiter of whatever happens is stupid. And just as much as he's a twit on economics and tariffs, he's equally that way in terms of social media. He's a great poster, but I understand that he doesn't even make his own posts. He says things and they type them in for him. That's
so someone else is capitalizing all those words?
Have you seen these pictures?
No.
He's got assistants that they basically type it up for him.
Like what he's just the king just transcribing
the king
the
just
things
pronounces and then the servants serve.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to see, because I think.
Are you worried about it?
Worried? No. Feeling like maybe tomorrow I should put some kind of post out there. Like, these are all the other places I am.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I should probably do, but how that algorithm works, how many people will actually see it, I don't know. But it'll, will we wake up Sunday like we did before and it will just be gone, and then 14 hours later it'll be back again? I guess we'll see.
And I'm not throwing smoke, but if you don't follow my teammate here, Kristin Brey, she's sensational on social media.
We do what we can. All right. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will spin around the state on Spanning the State.
Join your boy Tori Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tori Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers, where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
April 6th at Tropical Smoothie Cafe, reward members get $5 off an acai bowl or an acai bowl with Nutella. Log into the app on April 6th to redeem your rewards. Terms and conditions apply.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could in fact still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your Accunet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
For your next night out, revel in the fusion of artistry and flavor with Sushi at St. Kate, offering guests an elevated experience where freshness and creativity converge in every bite. St. Kate the Arts Hotel introduces an exciting new sushi menu to its culinary repertoire. Indulge in the finest seafood, freshest ingredients, and expert craftsmanship for an inspired and delectable dining journey. Experience the art of sushi at St. Kate and learn more at stkatearts.com.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint? It's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain. Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ish Nala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ish Nala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ish Nala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
As spring rolls in, it's time to get your yard ready at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Keep ahead of crabgrass with effective crabgrass preventers from quality brands like Scott's and Estate. These powerful pre-emergent solutions stifle crabgrass and other invasive weeds to keep your turf healthy and green from the get-go. But if any weeds slip through, Estate Premium 4-in-1 Lawn Treatment will choke them out on contact. Take pride in your lawn and find the value you need to maximize its potential. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Rich Lawns.
It's time for the Crew to finally throw down against a division rival.
Bunting it up the first baseline. It's a good bunt. Racing home is done. He will score. Bryce Terang gets the job done.
Our Brewers Reds coverage starts tonight at 6 with Brewers warm-up on your home for the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just one day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:02 from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. I'm Adam Roberts. Happening right now, sheriff's officials in Sarpy County, Nebraska, addressing the media after a pregnant teenager from Beaver Dam missing since early February has been found. This was just south of the Omaha area. Her alleged abductor, she is Sophia Franklin. Her alleged abductor, Gary Day, the 40-year-old father of her unborn child, is in custody on $5,000 bond. He is being held. She, meanwhile, is awaiting reunion with her family. Cuts to federal agencies impacting lead remediation efforts right here in Wisconsin. Earlier today, Milwaukee Health Commissioner Dr. Mike Todoritis confirming to Wisconsin's Midday News that CDC experts were assisting them with lead remediation plans for Milwaukee public schools, but were shocked to learn Tuesday that those experts are now gone.
These experts in their respective sections within the CDC or Health and Human Services are some of the best and brightest of our country on these specific issues. So at this point, from what I understand, there aren't any lead experts at the CDC anymore.
Meanwhile, the former leader of lead cleanup at MPS is now out. Here's Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Brenna Caselius.
Sean Kane, who has served as Senior Director of Facilities and Maintenance Services, will no longer serve in that role and is separating from the district. I will immediately begin a search for a permanent replacement to lead the district.
Kane was recently fined by the state for not keeping up his credentials since the time he was hired back in 2021. 3 MPS schools remain closed while lead remediation continues. There's no timeline for when those schools could reopen. And senators have introduced legislation requiring Congress to approve tariffs. The Senate narrowly passed a measure late Wednesday to cancel the tariffs President Trump had imposed on Canadian imports. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
It's bipartisan legislation from Maria Cantwell and Chuck Grassley that would seek to give Congress a role in vetting tariffs that any administration, but particularly this administration, would enact. Among other things, it would require that Congress vote after about a 60-day window to approve tariffs that the executive branch were to put into place. And if Congress didn't vote to approve a tariff that the president enacted, that tariff would, in a sense, be canceled.
That bill is not expected to move in the House. However, 4 Senate Republicans have signed on to it. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Let's take a look at the big 3. It has been an absolutely down day for all of the majors, and that is still the case this afternoon. Right now, the NASDAQ off over 5% on the day at 16,689. The Dow was down in the 4 figures, off 1,400 points. That's 3.34% at 4817. And the S&P 500 down over 4%, sitting at 5,438. That's down over 230 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 2:05.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
But one of the things that we underestimated in the furniture industry is decorating around our furniture in our showrooms.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Our accessorizing was terrible. And we were just too cheap to spend money on that. And we didn't know what to spend it on when we did. But today, you walk into our rooms, wow. Not because of us. That's because of Emily and her team and other team members we've had throughout the years. But I'm proud now to go in our showrooms and see where we were and where we are now as far as making them look really good.
PennyMustard.com.
I still can't decorate.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Out with the Royals, in with the Reds tonight at American Family Field. Brewers homestand continuing this evening after manager Pat Murphy's club took 2 of 3 from KC.
That's a good baseball team over there. That team's a playoff-bound baseball team. That's why I'm so excited, because we battled. That's how we have to be. We have to battle and be relentless and never give in.
Coverage of tonight's game begins right after the 6 o'clock news here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. And 7 games remain on the Bucks' regular season schedule. That includes a tilt tonight in Philly against the 76ers. Milwaukee begins the day in 6th place in the Eastern Conference playoff race. You can hear tonight's game over on 94.5 ESPN beginning at 6 o'clock. Checking the roads now, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic going over the map right now. Just one incident, broken down vehicle on the ramp from Ryan Road to 94 North. And that is it right now. We are largely incident free. No major delays. Also, lots of green on the map. You are free and clear this afternoon. And here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast for this afternoon. Going to be more clouds than sun for most of us. Continued breezy with a high around 50. Partly cloudy tonight down to 37. Watching for a rain chance then late on Friday. Cooler again, 45 near the lake up to 51 inland. Clouds on Saturday and 49, 46 on Sunday and partly cloudy. Then another rain-snow mix possible Monday. Going to be a cool day as well with highs in the upper 30s. Right now in Milwaukee, mostly cloudy skies and 48 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:08.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristin, Brey, and Steve Scaffidi.
Indeed. Every day after the 2 o'clock news, even if we sometimes don't know who is doing the 2 o'clock news, we will still spin around the state and find stories that have happened that you may not have heard of.
You've never skipped a day on Spinning the State? Ever?
Since we introduced it?
Yeah. Curious.
I don't think so. I think as long as we've had been on air after 2 o'clock,
all right.
I think we've done it. All right. So let's see where we're going first.
What's true. I guess I'll go first.
You do? I mean, you are going to go first.
Okay. Everybody knows.
Lacrosse.
We got to see where we're landing first.
Yes.
Well, wait for the wheel, Steve.
See, I already knew where we're going. But I
Because you have a crystal ball?
I did.
You got to spin the wheel.
This is like a big... What I love
It's the illusion. Just stop. You also lie about Santa Claus?
I do.
Yeah, go.
I have to.
We're going to lacrosse. What's happening in lacrosse?
Well, everybody knows Tuesday was election night and day, right? So,
yes.
A lot of excitement, but we forgot about... Well, I forgot, maybe you too. They had an election for mayor in lacrosse.
There's lots of nonpartisan local elections.
And just like the first time I've ever called Donald Trump a twit earlier in my program and on this program, there was a first in lacrosse. I know it's a big stretch segue, but for the first time ever, a black mayor was elected. Also, LGBTQ plus mayor in lacrosse. How cool is that?
That is very cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of this attention, it's the big race, right? Supreme Court, obviously state superintendent. Obviously in November we had that, but this is a big deal in cities. I was a mayor. I don't know if you know this. I was a mayor of a city. I'm not sure what the population of La Crosse is, but ours was about 35 when I was mayor of
I think
Oak
La Crosse
Creek.
is bigger than Oak Creek.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it hosts a university.
Yeah.
Which my wife attended and my daughter attended for a brief amount of time. First black mayor, as I said, first openly LGBTQ plus mayor. That is a great story. 9,000 votes. This is what I love, because I'm a sort of a detail guy in elections. More than 50%, 51% of the vote. That means a mandate, right? In terms of elections, that is a mandate for the newly elected mayor. I want to get his name right. Shondell Washington. I think it's Spivey.
Yeah.
I encourage him to, if I send him an email, to
you should reach out to him.
Come on the show.
Yeah.
Mayor to mayor used to be a thing on my old show.
Mayor to mayor.
A couple, 2-3 shows ago. God, I've had a lot of shows. Anyway, news to come. Anyway, I look forward to that conversation.
Absolutely.
Great story. That's a great way to start spinning the state.
All right, perfect. Let's see where else we're going to go today. Let's spin. You can spin the wheel this time,
all right.
Steve.
I sold that. Big time.
Paddock Lake.
All right, this might be the first time we've gone to Paddock Lake, but the Festival of Love and Colors, Holy, is coming
this sounds
to
like
Kenosha.
something Brandon Snide would love. Festival
Have you
of Love.
ever seen the pictures that come from Holy festivals?
No.
You've never seen them?
No.
It's so joyous. I've never done
How
one.
so?
So, all right. So, Holi, or the Rite of Spring, is celebrated in India and internationally because of Indian diaspora, right? And so, according to the event organizer Kurav Kukrasia.
Good luck with that. That's why I chose number 1.
Holy is not only about the colors, it also signifies good overcoming evil and celebrates spring and new beginnings, where you can express yourself through colors. So last year was the inaugural celebration, and it drew 100 people, and this year they're hoping to double it. So the festival offers an escape from our screens to a fun, family-friendly event that brings the community together in nature. Think of a color run minus the running. So that was what the event organizers said. This is the second annual Holy Party. It is free to the public and will also feature henna tattoos, a bouncy house, music, balloon animals, and games, and a chance to explore the U.S. Navy T-38 Talon jet engine.
That's cool.
They also encourage participants to wear white as to showcase all the colors that they will absorb. So the event is this Saturday at Old Settlers Park from 1 to 3 p.m. So you've never seen pictures of these.
Actually, is it similar to Diwali? Festival of Lights?
I don't
India,
know.
South
This is where
Asia?
it's not really a run, but they're throwing. So everyone is like just colored in colors afterwards.
Sort of. But
so I'll show you pictures of the commercial.
I have seen a color run before. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. At schools do that all across this country all the time. I actually went to one, and all I could remember was everything. I was covered in paint for like days.
Okay.
You could take as many showers as you want.
So maybe you maybe have done one and not even been aware of it?
I was around one. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
People yelling at me on the text line, spin the damn wheel. Really?
All right. Well, that will do it for Spinning the State today.
So much tension.
When we come back, Mammal Madness.
What?
I know. I have to explain to you what it is.
right.
So stay with us on Spanning the State.
While being the first pro baseball team is your claim to fame,
What's going on in there? What? That light.
those red jerseys remind us that your franchise is in flames.
Oh, the red. Yeah, it's a chicken roaster sign.
The Brewers host the Reds at American Family Field.
Back and Churio makes the catch as he collides with the wall.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:05. We are the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We are local and know how to deal with the IRS and state to solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on Nick to get $194,358 of taxes and penalties removed. This is why John Neal started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of all the taxes they can charge you or the more than 150 penalties they can impose on you. Make the right choice and call us at 844-222-1192. We want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security garnished, or a lien put on your house. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Call us at 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting. We understand how stressful this can be. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. That's 844-222-1192 or rightchoicetax.us.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for CertaPro Painters for your home or your business. They came out and did the exterior of our house. The team walked around the entire house with me, pointed out a couple spots that I needed some extra work done. I didn't even realize it. The teams at CertaPro, they've got your back. Call and ask about their spring sales event going on now through May 15th. It's CertaPro Painters, the best in the business. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. It's CertaPro Painters. Took care of me, they'll take care of you. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
The pencils are sharp. The brackets are ready. Your winners are selected, and the bets are on the table. That's right, it's time for March Mammal Madness. Where we pit the world's mightiest and even smallest mammals to see who will succeed and be crowned the best of the animal kingdom.
All right, Steve.
I have no idea what
I
this
know
is.
you have no idea. So you obviously know that we're ahead of the final weekend for the NC2A tournament for both men and women.
I do know that.
But you didn't do a bracket this year.
I haven't done a
so you
bracket
have
for
no
years.
skin in the game over there. You also have no skin in the game here. But March Mammal Madness is exactly what it sounds like. There is scientists who do these simulations of all these different types of animals and who would win in a battle. Have you ever played this game as far as like what would win, a shark or a bear?
I haven't thought about it.
Who would win between a shark and a bear?
A bear.
Why?
Bears are badass. They are. You don't. I mean, I've been close to bears. Terrifying.
All right, so we finally have the results of who won the whole thing. So I'm going to say what the final roar was, not the final four, the final roar. So on one end we had a gelada and a puma. Now, what is a gelada? What do you think a gelada is? It's not ice cream.
A rat?
It is not
Big
a rat. It is not a rat.
Big marsupial?
It is a big monkey. It's called
really?
Sometimes called the bleeding heart monkey. The gelada baboon.
Why does it have a
is
coffee
a species
name?
of
I don't get
old
it.
world monkey found only in the Ethiopian highlands. So we have basically a monkey
Where they grow coffee.
with great hair versus a puma. What do you think won?
I'd say puma.
You're right.
Yeah.
Puma did win.
Of course
So
I'm right.
Puma made it to the finals. On the other side, we have a polar bear
Oh.
versus ginkgo and Rizzo, which did we ever figure out what that actually is? It's like a tree, right?
Yeah, I think it's tree. It could be a whale, but I think it's a tree.
It
This
could
makes
be
no
a whale?
sense.
I don't
I
get
looked
it.
it up as a whale. There's a
It's gotta be a
ginkgo
whale.
name.
It
went very
This
far.
was always a confusion of it was the number one seed in its bracket, and now it's against a polar bear. We didn't understand how it kept winning, but yet here we are. What wins? A polar bear?
Polar bear.
Okay, you're right. Also, right there
Of course
too.
I'm right again.
Well done.
Because I know stuff.
So you were the only one. I had a narwhal beating a polar bear. I was also wrong there.
The long,
Yeah, the unicorn of the sea.
awkward.
I picked the narwhal to win the whole thing,
Yeah, no,
I
awkward.
failed.
No.
All right, so what do you think wins? A puma or a polar bear?
Polar bear.
And you were also right. You would have won this whole thing.
I know,
done.
because I'm smart.
You don't even know what this is.
I don't have to know.
You didn't know what a gelato was.
It's a coffee. Isn't it some sort of coffee or
I
flavoring?
just told you it's a monkey.
I don't buy that. That seems made up to me.
I mean, valid.
I've never been to Ethiopia, so I shouldn't really talk. But I would like to go because they grow coffee there.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? So I guess
I'm last one standing.
you had a polar bear.
I
You
had
had
a
polar
polar
bear
bear.
winning the whole thing, right?
What do I win then?
You win nothing.
Nothing. No.
You win absolutely nothing. You know, you win. You get to win. You win what we're going to talk about next. What's on your mind?
Oh, it's up to me?
Yeah.
Let me think about it during the break.
All right. When we come back, Steve's choice on Spanning the State.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes.
There, yeah, she flew off the road right at a bridge, so she went down an embankment. No one could see her vehicle
Until a guy named Johnny Martinez happened to come by.
I said, ma'am, how long have you been here? And she said, I've been here since Wednesday night. And I said, no, it's today's Tuesday.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Got an old boat, a new boat in between. Kendor Marine, upholstery and parts, hard to find things. Kendor Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Everything you need but the water. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Like a boat-loving kid in a candy store. Kendor Marine. If you have a question, we have the expertise at Kendor Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
Easy to find at 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin or KendorMarine.com.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
The proof is in the pudding. Advertisers that hire us stick with us for years and years because they trust us, because we always promptly respond to customer needs, and because bottom line, we get results. Go to Anderson-Smith.com's Our Clients page to see who trusts us and check out a long list of real advertising success. Then hit the Contact Us button, email me, and I'll call you in short order because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com. What's it going to cost to make it work? Wrong question. What you need to ask is, what do I have to do to make it work? What do I have to say so that I can truly set my business apart? That's why you call us, to make your ad budget give your message affordable repetition and to relay it in a powerful way to make sure folks remember your business first when their time of need arises. Go to Anderson-Smith.com, email me, and I'll call you ASAP because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com.
All right, Steve.
I thought you were waiting for me.
No,
there.
Steve. What do you want? So what do
Spade
you?
on this
That was
Thursday.
that was for guessing correctly on March Mammal Madness. That the
Yes,
polar bear
my
won the
prize.
whole thing.
Mhm.
Your prize is what you want to talk about until the bottom of the hour news.
So, sort of inside baseball a little bit, but we both have shows.
We do.
More news to
You've
follow
been
on
doing
that.
this a lot longer than I have.
Yeah,
You're more seasoned.
I was telling you
You're a
during the
seasoned
break.
veteran.
So, because of my life experience, I was basically handed a show. Here's 3 hours talk.
How actually, because I have a follow-up story anecdote to that, but when they first approached you,
Uh-huh.
because I know you like to say, not like to say, you did, you studied broadcast journalism in college,
I did,
right?
yeah. Seriously.
And so, but you had a very different career. Well, maybe you spoke in public and addressed.
I did a lot of that,
You know,
yeah.
you addressed the people
Mhm.
that make you managed. But when they were like, "We want you to talk on the biggest stick in the state," were you nervous? Were you at all just like, "Oh, was there a part of you that had imposter syndrome? Was like, I can't do that."
Yeah, not nervous. I don't really get nervous, and I've talked about this on the air before. I'm not wired that way, so because I don't understand nervousness. I know people do get nervous, but it doesn't really serve a purpose other than being nervous. It doesn't make you better, I don't think. Anyway, so I definitely had imposter syndrome.
Okay.
For me, it was like, you want me to talk for 3 hours? And literally back then, at the early stages of the 8-year run that I've had, it's whatever I wanted to talk about. So if something irritated or ticked me off, I spent an hour on it.
Mm-hmm.
I have learned so much in the 8 years, which hopefully I'm a better broadcaster now. And I guess if I read, like today, for example, I did a show today. I had 2 guests, one on each side, Ben Wickler and
Rick Essenberg.
Rick Essenberg, my friend Rick Essenberg.
I was gonna say, how'd you forget that?
Who will be mad about me forgetting his name? Conservative, obviously a liberal Democrat, as high as you go in Wisconsin, chair of the Democratic Party. And I was reading a text line, and for the first time in a long time, it was overwhelmingly positive. And it actually
On both sides?
On both sides.
As far as both guests?
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm reading this thing because, you and I both spent time reading this. I don't generally pay much attention after the show.
It'll
But
thicken your skin.
it will. 'Cause-
This and the social media comments will certainly thicken your skin.
Yeah. So, and on the same day, I'm talking today, this morning, Steve, you're the most brilliant person on Milwaukee radio. And like 2 texts later, you're the dumbest guy on the station in radio in Milwaukee. Literally 2 texts away. What would you make of that?
No, I mean, I think that's the same thing. I have, when I post a video that starts to get traction, and there's some people who are sharing it because they love it so much, and then I have trolls, and not necessarily trolls, I have people who disagree with me. And so it's different opinions, it's different interpretations of what you're saying, it's people who agree, and it's just, you can't control how what you're saying is received by the other person.
So here's why I brought this up. Because I've been asked, well, why would you bring it up? Because I think it matters. And I make a big deal out of telling people that on my show, we do things differently than a lot of people that talk about politics. And I think you understand this. There are generally a lot of one sides, right? Whether it's a local talk station in Milwaukee that's very overwhelmingly conservative or the other station group across the state that's more liberal. And I don't know.
It's understatement.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that serves exactly. Because a lot of head nodding and approving is not really stimulating your gray matter or your brain cells to think differently, or maybe it's contributing to some of the things that ail us. I guess that's my concern. So when I will read these things, it's because I want to make sure that what we do, you, me, anyone else that does this, understand that whatever we say, there's people that disagree with us. But we have to make educated arguments for why we think what we think.
But don't you think that's everything? The one of the most eye-opening things that I've experienced as of late, I made a silly video. I don't know if I've talked about this on air or not. Because most of the stuff that I put on social media is, it's my Journal Sentinel explainers and it's opinion videos, but it's kind of talking about politics and policy and news in a digestible way.
Yeah.
I don't post a lot of lifestyle type content or reviews or anything like that. And I sometimes post about my life, but I had this video of Frankie, and she's wearing a onesie that I got in the boys section. And I don't know, as a father of two girls, if I'm sure it was like this in the 80s and 90s, but sometimes the slogans that go on kids' clothing is very gendered.
Yes.
And it was in the boys section, and it said, "Daddy's little genius." And I made a joke. It's a video of her wearing it. And I said, normalize dressing your daughter in clothes from the boys section. And then in the caption, I said, "Daddy's little genius is better than Daddy's little princess." I have 1 million views on that video and almost 3,000 some comments of people fighting over that sentiment. It was a video that took me 2 minutes to post. I didn't think anything of it, but just by sparking the debate about how to dress your children, opened the floodgates for people talking about forcing wokeism on your kids versus letting your kids wear whatever they want, and how boys' clothes are built better and they're cheaper, but then boy moms being mad because there's already not that many options for boys, so stay out of the boys section if you don't have a boy. Like, it was wild to see the reaction. And this isn't political. This isn't politics at all. And to see how what you can say even as kind of like a throwaway joke, how people receive it, like, you just can't control.
So I see that stuff every day, and your stuff and other people's stuff. It's the views are just incredible, and that's why you're good at what you do. But I see that, and I said this on Twitter yesterday or the day before. We're a nation of arguers and complainers now. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Literally, someone will argue the point on whatever that is. To your point, that's what they're doing. Something as innocent as that. And I don't care where you shop. I don't care how you dress your kids. I mean, put some clothes on them, for Pete's sake, unless it's appropriate at a beach or something. But, I mean, come on. Why do we care about that stuff? Why would we get so mad that you chose to put Daddy's little genius on and that became this big arguing point? That's stupid. Be better than that. And that's why I say listen better, be smarter, and a lot of other things. Leadership is hard. A lot of things that I've had my slogans of my life that other really smart people taught me. And if I have a message for anybody doing a show or listening to a show, try to listen better and be smarter. Stop arguing and complaining about everything because it serves no purpose. Just like in my world, being nervous serves absolutely zero purpose. Doesn't make me better, doesn't make me smarter. It's a waste of my time, so therefore I don't get nervous.
You've never gotten nervous?
When I was a kid, I was very shy. I overcame it. I had a great teacher, Mrs. Adi, taught me, she was my speech teacher. Brilliant. Said, Steve, you are good at that. Don't hide, don't be shy, speak more.
Is it because you are so confident that you don't think you're going to fail?
No, I don't worry about that.
Because I feel like nervousness is not necessarily something you can control. It's something that happens to your nervous system.
Look, I know everyone's wired differently. That's just how I'm wired.
So you never get like butterflies in your stomach?
Not really, no. Maybe because I've been forced into some really high-profile situations, including have a international camera thrust in my face in August of 2012. So I've kind of seen everything. I've had my life threatened numerous times. I kind of lived through all that stuff.
All right.
Maybe that's my deal.
I still get nervous for public speaking. Like,
it's not a bad thing. You can't control it.
No, I feel like that always just my sentiment about being nervous has always been it shows that you care and that you're invested in doing a good job. And often I think that adrenaline before you start speaking publicly gives a little bit more oomph to the performance.
I don't want to demonize being nervous. That's a natural thing. Okay. I just don't get nervous.
You just don't get nervous?
I don't.
No big deal.
No.
All right. ABC News and local headlines are next.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Despite backlash over his sweeping tariffs plan, President Trump says levies on imports will bring manufacturing and jobs back to America.
The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years.
Today, a 25% hike on foreign autos kicked in. A 10% baseline tariff on global goods begins this week, and other countries later face reciprocal tariffs. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney responding with counter tariffs on autos and taking action.
We have filed disputes underscoring that they are in violation of our free trade agreement, CUSMA. We have gone to the World Trade Organization because these actions are against international trade law.
There is growing concern on Capitol Hill. The Senate now considering a bipartisan measure to require congressional approval for tariffs. This is ABC News.
It is 2:31. Suing the bars connected to the death of Sade Robinson. Robinson's family claims both Twisted Fisherman and Dukes on Water overserved 19-year-old Robinson until she was incapacitated, resulting in her death. According to the lawsuit, Robinson was not asked for a valid ID before being served alcohol. A jury finds a Milwaukee police officer guilty of negligence. Antonio Obregon ran over a suspect during a high-speed chase in 2020. The injured man, David Smith, sued the city and Obregon after the incident. He was awarded nearly $58,000 for medical expenses and pain and suffering. And 3 Milwaukee public schools, Starnes Early Childhood Learning Center, Fernwood Montessori, and La Follette School, remain closed for continued lead remediation. Interim Chief School Administration Officer Michael Harris says that crews have been working around the clock through spring break. Harris says the district is looking to hire more third-party cleaners and painters to help speed up the cleaning process. Time for news about your money. I know, we got to do it. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update is brutal today. The Dow right now is down 1,600 points. The NASDAQ is off 1,000 points. The S&P is down 254 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. All right, let's check those roads. The WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Right now, one incident in Milwaukee, a crash on the ramp from Greenfield to 41 North, so leave some extra time there. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 37 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Some rain at night, a high of 51. On Saturday, slight rain chance, a high of 49. Sunday, cloudy, 46. Monday, a chance for snow, a high of 38 degrees. Right now in Waukesha, cloudy and 47 degrees. In Milwaukee, it is cloudy and 51. I'm John Mercure, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:33.
If you have a snoring problem or sleep apnea, odds are you have blockage in both your throat and your nose. Now, for those who've gone elsewhere and wonder why their issues aren't getting better, this is where the problem lies. Because the true root of your problem very well may be your nose. We believe we'll find that your nose isn't working the way it should. And once we do get your nose working, your CPAP mask can finally work, or you can lose that CPAP mask altogether. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available, including simple in-office procedures that can get your nose and your throat working properly. It's a simple concept. If you're going to get your best sleep, you have to be able to breathe well.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we believe in making the most of what you love, making sure your money is as well spent as your time. So as you start your spring projects, we have the value you need to make them your own. Right now, Rewards members get a free $10 gift card with an $80 estate fertilizer purchase, 7-pound bags of Blaine's brand Cardinal Songbird food, 2 for $12, plus select Diamond Crystal softener salt, $7.50 for Rewards members. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Beer fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors, grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com, to learn more.
All right, I said this a lot this week, but
Steve's awesome.
That too. But Wisconsin I think Wisconsin loves Wisconsin. We love our sports heroes. We love our history. There's certain things. There's reasons why like Charlie Barron's tapped into something as far as
I love
highlighting,
Charlie.
right, and like tapping into the things that Wisconsin loves. And we love to claim the people who have made their mark in the world, who have ties to Wisconsin. And now award-winning journalist and Wisconsin author Dean Robbins has captured those stories, specifically of 100 people that made their mark on Wisconsin. It's called Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. And it's a book of essays that tells the true tales of legends and trailblazers with Wisconsin connections who left their mark on the world. Welcome back to the show, Dean.
Hi, nice to be here.
So how long have you been working on, because it's 100 different essays, so is this something you did over a long period of time or something you did in one fall swoop?
Probably been working on it since I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
Wow.
I've always had this huge collection of heroes, and I've been collecting them my whole life. And there are people like Houdini and Jackie Robinson and Orson Welles and Bart Starr. And it turns out that so many of them have a connection to Wisconsin. I wasn't born here. I was born in St. Louis. But when I came here in the 80s, I discovered just an extraordinary number of heroic figures who had a connection to the state.
So what's your criteria? Like, and you mentioned some big ones there, Houdini, obviously the world of magic. I think it was from like Appleton or
But
Oshkosh.
he was born here, yeah.
Yeah. And then you got Bart Starr now, also not a bad one. Like, who makes the cut? Because your thing is 100, right? 100 people? 100 heroes who changed the state, the world, and me.
Yeah, so I had to have some rules, right? So
Now, who did
the first
make the
thing
cuts?
was that, well, I actually had some more that I couldn't even get into the book. But so the criteria was that they had to have some connection to the state, whether they lived here and are kind of associated with Wisconsin, like, as you said, Bart Starr, Hank Aaron, Houdini, Georgia O'Keeffe, Oprah Winfrey is from here. And then there were a bunch of people who just had a significant experience while they were passing through the state. And that would be people like Jackie Robinson and the Beatles and Bob Dylan, Duke Ellington, Harrison Ford. So that was one criteria. And the other was that they had to have made a mark on the larger world beyond Wisconsin. I didn't want this to be a regional book. I wanted it to be about transformative figures who had a huge effect on, everybody.
So you mentioned a lot of big
names. They had
names.
to be important to me. Yeah, they just had to be important to me was the last criterion.
So who in that grouping of 100 people, heroes, would we not recognize by name?
Well, there were some little-known ones in there. I mentioned a bunch of the famous ones. There's a woman named Viola Smith, who was the first professional female drumming star in the 1930s and 1940s. She was known as the fastest girl drummer in the world. She's from this little town called Mount Calvary.
Wow.
You might not recognize the name Meinhard Robbie, but I know you'd recognize his face because he was the Munchkin coroner in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, everybody knows that guy.
Yeah, the one who said the Wicked Witch wasn't merely dead, but really most sincerely dead.
That's awesome.
So then what were some of the stories? Because what was the Beatles story? I mean, obviously the Beatles are the Beatles, but I don't know. When did they pass through here and what happened?
So they came through at the height of Beatlemania. They made one appearance in Wisconsin. It was in Milwaukee in 1964. And it wasn't just a typical Beatles concert. There were some really exceptional things that happened. When they landed, at the height of Beatlemania, all the fans would show up at the airport screaming and wanting to get a glimpse of the Beatles. Well, the Milwaukee police did kind of a dirty trick and moved the plane away from where the fans were so that they couldn't get a look at the Beatles. And the Beatles called out the police for doing this at a press conference. And they also made fun of the local journalists who were asking a whole bunch of dumb questions. So they were just thumbing their noses at the older generation, but then they poured everything they had into pleasing the kids that got them, that loved them. And Paul McCartney even called one of the fans who wasn't able to make the concert in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Dean, one of the things that both Kristin and I have is a natural curiosity about people and topics that we talk about on our shows. What is it about people's stories that makes these so interesting that you have to write a book about them?
Well, I think we're in a time that we really need heroic role models, right? We're just so often seeing the worst that people can do nowadays, and I think Wisconsin Idol shows the best that people can be. These are people who've just inspired me my whole life. I have their posters up on my wall. I've interviewed them as a journalist. I've visited the places where they've lived, and if the book had inspired a similar response among readers, I'd be thrilled.
All right, well, where can people find the book?
Well, you can get it online at any bookseller. It's widely available. You can find it in your local bookstore. I know it's at Boswell in Milwaukee. It's at Mystery to Me in Madison. I don't think it'll be hard to get a hold of.
And then it's through Wisconsin Historical Society, right?
Yes, Wisconsin Historical Society Press.
We love them. All right. Well, Dean Robbins, thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to get this book because it seems, like you said, the Wisconsin connection and the greater world and some of these people some stories we've never heard of before.
Yeah, well, I hope you enjoy it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Dean.
The book is Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. And he is Dean Robbins. We'll be back with more after this.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods has a great reputation for producing custom team apparel. We're total team outfitters and we can handle the biggest jobs. Our success in custom team apparel led us into group and corporate apparel. Plus, we have a full selection of promotional products for employee gifts, special events, you name it. And we've made it easy for our customers to firm up their orders. The group sale web stores that we build for our customers are a simple way of gathering all the information you need. They're easy to work, easy to understand, and with them you'll have access to nearly limitless options. We've seen that most times we're better priced than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer. Plus Nike and Under Armour choices that the other guys can't get. And we offer a huge brand selection from Yeti, North Face, and Carhartt too. This is Brian Burkhart. For team, group, or corporate custom outfitting and promotional products, it's going to be really hard to beat our prices, selection, and ease of buying for any size budget and every size company. And that's why we always say,
You can't beat Burkhart.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 5-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
What's that laugh for?
I was going to do an FM. Hey, 620 WTMJ, 245. Kristin and Steve hanging out in the afternoon.
Is that an FM thing?
I guess. Old FM. The Avenue, downtown Milwaukee. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Going to a concert tonight? Hey, maybe smoke some dope? What do you think? That's really
Do that voice always.
No, I'm not doing that. If my wife, she is right now, my wife's Kathy's yelling at the radio, her little handset radio, listening to that. She goes, don't ever do that.
Don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
All right, so wanted to just circle back quickly before we get out of here for the day about toxicity. We were talking about the text line and comments and stuff before, but coming a little bit back because I saw this I think this was earlier this week, but it kind of got lost in the sauce with the election.
I love that. I love that phrase, by the way.
Lost in the sauce.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because this was published by Lawrence Andrea from Milwaukee Journal Sentinel on April 1st. So people were maybe a little distracted. But I don't know if you're online, if you've seen this ongoing spat between two of Wisconsin's
It's almost a lover's spat, to be
House
honest.
representatives.
Yeah, I said
so Mark Pocan, who's the Dane County representative, and Derek Van Orden, who represents the 3rd District, Western Wisconsin. So they, online, I think specifically on X,
I think so,
just snipe at each other constantly. And I saw this because my old boss, David, who was at the Journal Sentinel, who now works for WISACT, and which is a group that tries to get bipartisan support and lower the temperature. He posted this and was just like, these two need to grow up and knock it off.
You think? Yeah.
And I don't like it's one thing for sleuths online to be sniping at each other, right? Whether you're a pundit or you're someone who has a big social media following where like people are following you because you kind of one up other people or embarrass them or make fun of them or whatever. And there's plenty of people who do that. But once you're an elected official, does anyone like this when they have these public spats with one another?
It's like what I said before. Senate is like high school honor students. The House is like junior high, middle school, not honor students. I'll put it that. I was going to say something meaner. And just the stupid things they say to each other. This is not conduct of a U.S. congressperson. It's not. Stop. First of all, why are you doing this? Now, they're completely different people. One is a Navy SEAL. I'm not sure beyond his public service what Mark Polk-Canada has done in his life.
Because he was in the state legislature before he ran for Congress.
Sort of a one-trick pony. That's all he's ever done.
I mean, that's giving Derek Van Orden, and considering what he's done since being in Congress.
I'm not giving him any slack at all. It's also stupid.
There's a trail of things that he's done, including crying wolf when he was in Milwaukee during the RNC. That a 100-pound protester hip-checked him, and she should be arrested. So that's a different story. But literally in this article, it's called, they reference it as the most toxic intra-delegation relationships in Congress.
No, I think Boebert or what's her face, MTG would probably win that contest. But
you think so?
Yeah,
all right.
They're more toxic. But I will say this: there are two Congress people who are acting like little infants. You should stop doing it immediately. I don't know what pleasure you get out of it. You look foolish. You don't look like professional government servants, and I don't know why you're doing it because it serves no purpose. And just on that subject, I don't know if you caught. I played it on my show yesterday, the day before.
We played it yesterday after the election when I crashed your show.
Yeah, Rebecca Bradley.
Justice Rebecca Bradley, who's up for re-election next year.
She had a tantrum basically talking about the newly elected Justice Susan Crawford. Grow up. What are you doing? Why are you acting like that? This is a colleague. You don't have to agree with them on politics. You're supposed to be just interpreting the law of the land of the state of Wisconsin. This idea that you're going to somehow get along or not get along, that's, again, junior high stuff. Grow the hell up. What are you doing there?
So if you had to rank toxic workplaces, and we were going with the Wisconsin Supreme Court, the Wisconsin legislature, or the House of Representatives, which one do you think is the most toxic to the least toxic?
It might be.
As far as relationships and working with one another.
It might be from now going forward, the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Because they literally, 4 one side, 3 the other, they do not like each other.
They do not like each other.
They clearly don't socialize together because you never see them together other than when forced.
Despite they all look like they could be in a book club together.
Yeah, well, was it like 6 women, right?
Most women in the Supreme Court in the country.
Who I would argue is the most even-headed justice on that court, by the way.
I don't think you'd get a lot of pushback for that.
I think that's dead right.
I think he's proven himself to be, I think he's proven himself to be what we actually want judges to be, where he worked for Scott Walker.
Yeah.
In his politics, he is conservative, but how he has ruled has been much more even-handed and unpredictable.
Which is a good thing for a judge,
now there's a lot of conservatives who aren't big fans of that.
And because I know he listens to 620 WTMJ, because I've had him on my show a bunch of times, Justice Hagedorn, I would like to talk to you in the next month about all the things that are happening in this country. Not specific cases, but what you see. Because
you want to ask him how toxic the workplace is?
I won't ask him that. Well, I may, but he probably won't answer. But that's a great question. But I think what we're looking at here is a Wisconsin Supreme Court that is probably looking at a lot of 4-3s for some of the biggest issues of this state.
Well, not only potentially a lot of 4-3s, but also how many rulings will they actually make? Because there was like a record low number of decisions made in this last session.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Maybe not a bad thing, but something that is a fact is a fact, right? As far as how many things they finally got to a decision on. And not everything was 4-3.
No.
They
just had a unanimous.
They just had a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that we didn't really dive in on. I haven't gotten a straight answer, and then we'll go to break. So, the thing that Elon Musk had said, why he was so involved. Hakeem Jeffries said the same thing as far as the congressional redistricting maps. But as far as I remember, the current court, the liberal-leaning court, rejected that case last year. They only did the state legislative maps. They did not do the congressional maps. And I don't think there is an open case right now for that, like a pending case for them to rule on for the congressional maps.
I think you're correct.
And so this is a hypothetical situation that they were even talking about.
And it demonstrates something. They often carefully consider what they're going to take up. And sometimes the best decision is to not take it up. Sometimes we let the legislature and all those elected representatives do their damn jobs. And that might be a message that's worth sending from this current court to the current legislature.
There you go. All right. Let's do this, and then we'll come back and wrap it up on Spanning the State.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at 1 o'clock for something really cool. It highlights Wisconsin. The people, the places, the things to do. It's Experience Wisconsin. We'll check in with communities from all across the state, from way up north to down in the border with Illinois. This week, a couple of really cool places that we are going to focus on. It is Lake Geneva. We'll let you check out Lake Geneva. And also, iconic Ishnala. That's right, we hang out at Ishnala. It's Experience Wisconsin on WTMJ.
Filet mignon isn't as cheap as chopped steak, and you can't buy a yacht for the same price as a dinghy. But while they last, you can buy high-end Beautyrest Black and Sealy Posturepedic mattresses for nowhere near high-end prices. Hasseless Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models. These are the best of the best, and now you can get them for way less. Like a Beautyrest Black LX Hybrid was $3,599, but now it's just $971. Or a Sealy Posturepedic Golden Acres Pillow Top was $1,093, but the floor model is just $546. Visit any employee-free, hassleless showroom and test your favorite floor model without salespeople breathing down your neck. You won't find these mattresses priced this low anywhere else. It's like buying a Lamborghini for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Only a few floor models are available at each Hasseless mattress location, and when they're gone for good. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. Or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help, and the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
All right. You're going to the Brewers game tonight.
I am.
You think we're going to have another win? After 2 wins in a row?
I hope so. You always hope. This is like my first game in a while. I haven't done something for
Did you
work.
not go in at all on opening day?
I did go in. Yeah, briefly. I said hi to some people and hung out, and I didn't have any food though, so I'm gonna do that tonight.
What's your go-to order?
It's very simplistic. A brat with stadium sauce and probably a Miller High Life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's America right there. You gotta love that. I hope for a Brewers win. I'm going to be with my colleagues and teammates, so I'm excited about that.
So yeah, so it was good after a little bit of a rough start. 2 wins in a row. Game yesterday
I'll be honest,
was great.
I was worried about it, but now here we are.
It's a long season.
It is. It's too long, actually.
It's yeah. That's probably a different topic for a different day. But the plenty of time to catch up in the season.
All right, so let's compliment our texters. You were awesome today.
We had a lot of texters come in today. We had a great observation as far as the challenge for listeners sometimes because we do change topics pretty quickly.
I didn't even think about that.
And also there's a delay. If you're listening on the streaming, there's a little bit of, I notice this sometimes when I'm listening on my phone versus getting in the car.
Yeah.
Not always synced up.
And I love the fact that one of the texters remembered Mrs. Adi like I did, or Miss Adi, changed my life, and the texter indicated the same thing. Those teachers are special, some of them, and they should be remembered in that way. She's since passed, but every time I have a chance to talk about her, literally changed my life. One conversation. That's a game changer. That's by definition. So thank you, Mrs. Adi.
All right, Wisconsin's Afternoon News is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ.